The number one way to stop binging on a fear food is to...
Hi, my name is Isabella. Grab a tea and a sweet treat and chat with me about how to overcome anxiety surrounding your fear foods and stop binging. Yes, binging.
You read something online that says carbs make you gain weight, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't buy that. I've eaten carbs my whole life, and I don't think they've made me gain weight. And I thought some carbs were healthy. You go about your day, and there's just this little ringing in your ears telling you carbs make you fat, carbs make you fat. And it's all you can think about all day. So you decide, why not just try it? Let's see what happens if I cut out some carbs. I'll stop eating sugar. It cannot be that hard. You've done great. And you've lost some weight. You're really, really happy about that because you've been trying to lose weight for a little while and you just haven't had a lot of success with it. So you decide to just keep going and see if you can lose a little more weight. Well, about a month later, you have lost more weight and you are starting to feel tired. You're starting to get cravings for sugar and bread and pasta and all the foods that you used to love. I'm just gonna let myself have a little cheat day. You get really, really excited about planning out what you're going to eat. You grab a pizza, some cookies, and your favorite candy. And you come home and you make yourself a plate of food. You decide that you're just gonna have one piece of pizza, one cookie, and 2 pieces of candy. You ate that really, really fast. And all of a sudden, you start to feel panicky. Your heart starts racing, and before you know it, you are diving headfirst into the pantry for that cookie bag. Suddenly, you've eaten 5 more cookies. So you decide, maybe if I just eat a little bit more pizza, that'll make me forget about the cookies and feel satisfied. You can't help but just finish the pizza. Now you are feeling so full, so sick to your stomach, so gross, so guilty. You cannot believe what you just did. All of the progress that you've been making, you just probably undid with that one meal. So you go to bed and you have resolved to start your diet up tomorrow, get back on track, and cut even more calories. You're finding that you're just binging anytime you have a hard day at work, or you're feeling extra stressed out, or you're feeling sad, and you do feel better for a little bit. But afterwards, you are filled with so much guilt and shame, and you just think you are fat and worthless. So why do we develop fear foods? Well, have you ever started a streak on an app and after a while you just think about it every single day? You're like, oh, I gotta keep up with my streak. That streak has no real value. We just arbitrarily assign value to it because of a certain time period, and it feels really important to us. It feels like we can't miss it or something bad is gonna happen. This is very similar to how we develop fear around foods. Once you cut out a food or a food group, or start a new diet, or start a new exercise regime, you start to develop a routine of that behavior. And that comes with some serious anxiety about messing up. You start to fear the food you cut out. And you really start to think all of these bad things are gonna happen if you eat it. Now I wanna tell you how I overcame a lot of my binging behaviors surrounding my fear foods. So one of my fear foods was ice cream. I thought that had way too many calories and way too much fat to be eating that on a regular basis. And I went years without eating ice cream. And then I started binging on ice cream because just like in that story I told, I'm human. So eventually I want to eat ice cream and I let myself have some. And I'm expecting that I'll just want to have a normal serving of ice cream. But because I deprived myself of ice cream for so long, I didn't just want a serving. I wanted all the ice cream in the universe. I wanted to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat ice cream. That's all I could think about. I learned that I just need to honor my appetite, honor my cravings, and stop depriving my body. The number one way to stop binging on a fear food is to let yourself binge and get rid of those negative thoughts with it. Just let yourself, because you've created a scarcity. And so once you get access to that, our instinct is just to hoard that food and binge. It's a natural thing to do. This is peppermint tea. I love peppermint tea any time of year really, but especially like around the holiday season. My husband made these. I'm very grateful. This is the last one. I overcame binging on ice cream by letting myself have as much as I want, day after day after day. And this is not easy. This comes with a lot of anxiety. And I was worried every day that I would get fat from this. I was gonna just gain weight endlessly. I would never stop gaining weight. And I really thought there was no end in sight. I thought I would be binging on ice cream for the rest of my life. And, anytime I couldn't binge, like, for example, if I was out with my friends and we were getting ice cream, I would have my serving of ice cream, and then the rest of the night, I'm just thinking, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. I need more ice cream. And I thought that was never gonna go away. I thought I could never, ever stop eating ice cream. But eventually, you do. Eventually, you get tired of it. And you slowly eat less and less of that fear food at a time. And you start feeling full sooner. And eventually, I got to the point where I could sit down to a bowl of ice cream and be happy and content with just a bowl. And it wasn't because I was forcing myself to have a bowl. It wasn't that at all. It was, I could just genuinely get out a bowl of ice cream, eat it, and that's all I wanted. Maybe I wanted 2 bowls one day, and that's fine. I'll just have 2 bowls. But I didn't have a craving for the entire gallon of ice cream. And that is such a freeing feeling. It feels like when you are a kid and, kids love ice cream. They just want to eat a bowl and then they move on. They go play on the swing set and they're not thinking about ice cream anymore. And I felt so relieved. But this took so much time, months, I would say maybe even upward of a year. I'm not kidding when I say I pretty much ate ice cream every day for a year. And I would usually binge. You can stop binging. So how do we deal with the anxiety that comes with trying a fear food for the first time, or breaking a diet, or whatever that looks like for you? Well, one thing I would recite to myself in my mind all the time was sit with the anxiety. I would just repeat that in my head, sit with the anxiety, sit with it. And what I mean by that is when you try a food and you're sitting down and you're so scared, you think it's gonna make you fat, you need to just pause and be present with that anxiety. Embrace it. Don't push it away. Don't punish yourself by restarting your diet the next day or cutting out that food again because you feel guilty. You need to accept that anxiety and trust that this is what my body needs. What my body is craving, what my body is binging on is what my body needs. And I need to sit with this feeling. And sometimes that would require me crying and breaking down. And that's okay. If that's what it looks like, that is okay. And the next time you try that food, there should be less anxiety because you realize all of these irrational fears that you had aren't true. You don't immediately gain 100 pounds just from eating 1 pint of ice cream or even 1 gallon of ice cream. You aren't going to not be attractive anymore. You're not going to lose friends. And really the only thing that's true is your own fear. And you are capable of letting go of that. And the best way to let go is to keep eating that food. Keep eating it. And every day you'll realize nothing bad is happening. I'm just living my life the way I'm supposed to at this time. And you are not supposed to live in fear of foods. You aren't. You are supposed to be happy and satisfied and able to go out to eat with your friends and have a good time and not think about food afterward. So push past that anxiety. If that looks like you're gonna have cookies every single day, have cookies every single day. Maybe the first 2 weeks of having cookies every day, you binge and you eat more than you want. But maybe by week 5, you eat 1 cookie and you're satisfied and you're full and you're not even thinking about cookies because you've had so many weeks of just letting yourself eat every single cookie that you want. Once you get to that point, and you will get to that point, you need to keep that food in your diet on a regular basis. Maybe you are like, I could go a month without a cookie. I'm tired of cookies. I don't want a cookie anymore. But you need to push yourself to maybe have cookies once a week so that you don't develop that fear and that I'm not gonna have a cookie streak. Because once you go a certain amount of time without a cookie and you feel like you've developed that streak, you might find those fears creeping back in. You're like, well, I guess I should try and keep not eating cookies and maybe I'll lose some weight. And all these silly thoughts come back. So you need to push yourself to keep that food in your diet. And you can do this for every single one of your fear foods. And I promise this will help you heal your relationship with your body and with food. So, thank you for watching. Please join our community. I am just getting started on videos. I want to make so many videos about my experience and how I overcame all of my eating disorders and how I've learned to love my body, and I want to help you too.